This is Earl Purdy, and I'm going to do Course in Miracles lesson 160. I'm going to read Course in Miracles lesson 160 to you, and we're going to do that together today. Lesson 160 is, I am at home, fear is the stranger here. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. I am at home, love is at home, fear is the stranger here. Love is at home, fear is the stranger here. I am at home, fear is the stranger here. You are love, so I am at home is love is at home. Fear is the stranger here. Do you know that fear is a stranger to the ways of love? Identify with your fear, and you will be a stranger to yourself. And that way you are unknown to you. What is your real self remains an alien to the part of you which thinks that fear is real, but different from yourself. What is yourself remains an alien to the part of you which thinks that it is real, but different from yourself. Who could be sane? Who could be sane in such a circumstance? Who but a madman could believe that they are what they are not and judge against themselves? Do you know there's a stranger in our midst called the ego, who comes from an idea so foreign to the truth that the ego speaks a different language? The ego looks upon a world truth doesn't know, and the ego understands what truth regards as senseless. Stranger yet, there's an ego mind within us that does not recognize to whom the ego comes and yet maintains his home belongs to the ego, while he is alien now who is at home. And yet how easy it would be to say to your ego, to the part of you that doesn't know the truth, this is my home, love is my home, here I belong, and will not leave because a madman within myself says I must. What reason is there for not claiming your true identity? What would the reason be for not claiming your true identity except that you have asked this stranger, you've asked this ego fear in to take your place and let you be stranger to yourself? No one would let themselves be dispossessed so needlessly unless they thought there were another home more suited to their taste. Who is the stranger? Is it fear that's the stranger, or you, love, who are unsuited to the home which God provided for his creation? Is fear God's own fear, created in God's likeness? Is it fear that love completes and is completed by? There is no home can shelter love and fear. There is no home can shelter love and fear. Love and fear cannot coexist. So if you, who are love, are real, then fear must be illusion. And if fear is real, then you don't exist at all. How simply then the question is resolved. Who fears has but denied themselves and said, I am the stranger here. And so I leave my home to one, the ego, more like me than myself, and give him, the ego, all I thought belonged to me. Now are you exiled of necessity, not knowing who you are, uncertain of all things but this, that you are not yourself, and that your home has been denied to you? So what do you search for now if you denied who you are? What can you find if you denied who you are? A stranger to yourself, a stranger to himself can find no home wherever he may look. For the stranger to himself has made return impossible. His way is lost, except a miracle. A correct perception will search that person out and show that person that they are no stranger now. The miracle will come. The correct perception will come. For in your home, yourself remains. It asks no stranger in. Your real self took no alien thought to be itself. And your real self will call its own unto itself in recognition of what is its own. Who is the stranger? Who is the stranger? Is he not the one yourself doesn't call? You are unable now to recognize this stranger, this ego in your midst, for you have given your ego your rightful place. Yet is your real self as certain of its own as God is of you, God's creation. He cannot be confused about creation. God is sure of what belongs to God. No stranger can be interposed between God's knowledge and your reality. God doesn't know of strangers. God is certain of you, God's creation. God's certainty suffices. Who he knows to be his creation belongs where he has set his creation forever. God has answered you who ask, who is the stranger? Hear God's voice assure you quietly and sure that you are not a stranger to your Father. You are not a stranger. You are not a stranger to your Creator. Nor is your Creator made stranger to you. Whom God has joined remain forever one. That means at home in God, no stranger to God. Today we offer thanks that Christ, your real self, has come to search the world for what belongs to it. The vision of Christ, the vision of your real self, sees no strangers, but beholds its own and joyously unites with them. They see him as a stranger, for they do not recognize themselves. Yet as they give Christ welcome, they remember, and Christ leads them gently home again where they belong. Christ will lead you gently home again where you belong. Not one does your real self forget. Not one does Christ forget. Not one Christ fails to give you to remember that your home may be complete and perfect as it was established. Christ has not forgotten you. Your real self has not forgotten you. But you will not remember your real self until you look at all as your real self does. Who denies his brother is denying the real self, and thus refusing to accept the gift of sight by which their real self is clearly recognized, their real home remembered, and their salvation and their healing come. So you are at home. The love that is you are at home. It is your fear. It is your ego. It is your separation thoughts. It is your false beliefs that are the stranger here. So you are to say, I am at home. You are love. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. Now it's time to identify with your real self, your one self, that's united with all of creation instead of the separated self that's telling you that the illusions of the world are real. That is the stranger. You are at home. So let's say that together. Here we go. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home. You are at home. You are love and you are at home. You are love. You are love. You are love and you are home. I say you are home. Fear is the stranger here. I am home. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Anger is the stranger here. I am at home. Anger is the stranger here. I am at home. Ego is the stranger here. I am at home. Ego is the stranger here. You are at home. Ego is the stranger here. You are at home. Ego is the stranger here. You are at home. Fear is the anger here. Fear is the stranger here. Fear is the stranger here. Fear is the stranger here. Fear is the stranger. Fear is the stranger. You are at home in love. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home in love. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home in love. Fear is the stranger here. You are at home in love. Fear is the stranger here. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. Mighty companion, you are at home. Fear is the stranger here. Check out my website at www.earlpurdy.com. I got many Course in Miracles classes there. And I want you to let peace extend from my mind and my heart, my mind, my heart to yours.